Hey folks, wanted to shoot a quick video. Gonna head over to my mom's and do some random repairs and some junk cleanup. Need to clean up some stuff out of her yard, take that to the dump, get it in the truck, fix a broken garage door opener, and maybe I'll do show a little electrical repair. So gonna load up some tools and head over there. We are here. I think Mom's not so good at getting out of here and shoveling, so I think I'll clean all that off for her. The snow is like 2 weeks old. It came down so wet and heavy. Anyway, it's beautiful out today, so I'll get that cleaned up. So one of the things I want to do is, this garage door opener doesn't work, and we bought this house back in August for my mom, been remodeling it. Go over some of that, and basically the previous sellers had just taken it off the track and not tried to fix it. So I think I figured it out. Some genius has that wire job going on, and basically both of them can just touch each other and short each other out. So it should be a pretty easy fix. So we'll take care of that today. The other order of business is all this junk in here from the remodel. Get rid of this. Show you out here. Got a huge pile of crap. Brought the saws. Cut this stuff up. Get it in the truck and take it to the dump. Maybe I'll film that. It's actually kind of interesting if you have never been to a real landfill before. You get to drive up the side of it and throw this out the back of your truck. You'll notice these aren't standard pallets. They're long and skinny because someone once upon a time built them so that they could get them down in the crawl space. So some old boy in the 70s or something had quite the palace down there for all his stuff, but I don't need them now, so we'll cut that up. Anyway, first I think I'm gonna go inside and do a little electrical work, and I'll show you that. So this house is over 70 years old, so most of its outlets don't have a ground. So they've got the hot, the neutral, but not the third prong, the ground. So this third prong here is, you know, at the bottom of a normal plug, US American plug, is supposed to be grounded. And so the sketchy thing about old houses like this is the homeowners, or the homeowner special or whoever handyman will come in. People want to plug in their 3-prong stuff without a converter or an adapter, and someone will just slap one of these in. And so you take one of these testers, plug it in, and one light in the middle means, if you look at the diagram on the front, that there's an open ground. So this is a 3-prong outlet that isn't actually grounded, so it's deceiving. And so one thing you can do, well, the best thing you can do is rewire the whole home, but I don't want to do that right now. Another thing you can do is run a ground specifically to each outlet from the panel. And then the third thing, which I'm going to try today, and I've had some success on some of these other boxes, is install a GFCI plug specifically for this. It's got some labels on it. You'll mark it as, there's some no equipment ground labels. And so you put that on there, and that's a legit option. The tricky part is, these boxes in these old houses are so small that a lot of the time these GFCI outlets, I'm having trouble fitting them in. Really want to avoid having to redo the boxes, so see if I can show you here. I bought this Leviton one just from Home Depot, and it's quite a bit smaller than this one off Amazon I bought. I was trying to save a little money. But you can see quite a big difference. That helps. The depth helps. The boxes are definitely smaller, or not as deep as modern boxes. But what's really killing me is the height, and they're not. I think the Leviton one is just a little smaller, a little less wide. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I have fit the big ones in. I should say that don't take my advice on any of this. Electricity is dangerous. You should know what you're doing. There's probably capacity limits in terms of, you know, volume that these boxes are allowed to take. It's probably not okay to jam the whole box full of something like this. But yeah, I'm going to try the smaller one on this outlet and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so that wiring tester is really nice. And if you're dealing with outlets, obviously you can use it to test if there's power. I just flip the breaker. Something I really recommend though is getting one of these power testing, I don't know, voltage tester sticks, whatever they're called. And so this one, here's some more, don't do as I say, not as I do. This one's been recalled. You notice it didn't beep at me. They're supposed to beep at you when they find power. Obviously there is no power, so it's green. This one still works, it turns red, but you're supposed to have the visual and audio cue that a line is live. But yeah, these things are awesome. You can use these for more than just outlets, and it's kind of got this nub here where you can actually stick it in the outlet and be super sure that the power's off. Really nice for replacing lights, switches, because obviously you can't plug this in to your light switch. So this is like a must-have if you're doing any work like this. Another lovely thing about working on these older homes is everything, and I mean every screw is a flathead. And it's such a pain because that's just, you know, that's what was used back then. So I'm interested to see, I think this switch is, excuse me, this outlet I think is feeding another one. I'm fairly certain based on what I can see in the box. And hopefully this whole adventure won't even be a dud. Nope, nice and simple. Okay, but hopefully you can see there, I mean, it is tight in there in these old boxes. And obviously we see no ground. And I don't know if you knew you could do this, but the previous guy had to snip the little ears off to even get it to fit with that drywall. I don't know if this was so you can see usually they come with these ears like that. And that's legit, you can do that. You can actually snip them off and use them as spacers to bring them off the box, which arguably should have been done here. So I don't know if this wasn't an original outlet that was with the house, and this was kind of I think that box is a new work box though. So anyway, we will pull that out and see what we can get going. I'm pretty skeptical about this actually fitting, but we'll see. What's been really nice, I mean, these are normal 14 gauge wires. All the wires I've encountered in this house have been, you know, pliable. They're not cracking or breaking. They've all been in really nice shape, which is actually a huge relief when you're working with old stuff like this. So we'll straighten these out. I do not have my, well, I guess I won't need them for this job. I was going to say I don't have my strippers. I just have my linemen, but that's another tool. I've been doing electrical stuff since I was a little kid, and I never had a pair of lineman pliers, and man, they just make it so much easier to manipulate the wires with, cutting stuff. They're a good multi-purpose tool too. You can see I beat these up pretty good. We recarpeted this house and ripped out every carpet staple with these lineman pliers. Let's try a test fit. So again, that's my big one. I don't think so. I'm gonna shove these wires back in just to see if it'll even clear vertically, which I really doubt. No, not a chance, which probably means this one is not gonna clear either. Oh, no, it does. Okay, so I will be able to install this box actually. A little tight, but that's man, it's not even a millimeter of difference in the height from these, I think. Maybe half a mil. You can just barely see it there, and it just makes all the difference. So yeah, that's awesome. I usually rip this off. Don't need it. Tighten the terminals I'm not going to use. Normally you'd be attaching a ground, but in my case I don't have one. All right, so these just slip in like so. And obviously we have way too much. So take these guys and clip that back a bit. that. I don't have emery cloth with me, it'd be better, but I'm gonna get some of this paint off these wires. I see some of the, there's this terrible teal paint, and I see it on some of that wire. I think it's corrosion, but it's not. It's actually the original color of the walls in this house. So let's see here. Yep, hot right here, white right here. That one's in, you can see it's been reset, green light's on. It's got the proper no equipment ground sticker on it because while it is GFCI protected, it obviously doesn't have an equipment ground. There's no ground running to that box. And I wanted to show you something else about how mysterious it can be to work on these old houses. So in the same room here, we have another 3-prong, and if I test it, this one does have a ground, or at least it claims to. So yeah, you always run into the weirdest stuff. I don't trust this. I'm replacing all these outlets with white versions, so next time I come up here, maybe next weekend, I'll bring a white 3-prong outlet, pull this out, and see if it does indeed have a equipment ground. And unfortunately, that outlet over there, I could not fit even the slim GFCI into. So I'm gonna have to bite the bullet on that one and probably put in a different box. I think that's enough residential electric for me today. Let's go fix that garage door and load up the truck with junk and go to the dump. Back at this garage door, you can see someone, I don't know why you would do it that way, maybe put a little tape on it or something, but basically those 2 wires short, the garage door doesn't turn on unless you jiggle this cable and get them to back away from each other for a second. So my plan here is bought these connectors with some solder in them, and the idea is you just use the heat gun after you have those on the cables. Probably use these really tiny ones, those white ones, and then I'll have some heat shrink tubing over the top of it. This is total overkill, but I'm gonna try it out. It was an excuse to buy a heat gun, so yeah, let's see how this goes. Alright, I've plugged it in. Let's give it a test before I put that heat shrink on there. Ah, there you go. Works perfectly. So yeah, I'll slide that heat shrink on. These connectors I think actually have clear heat shrink. They're pretty nice actually. I just got them on Amazon. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I'll get that heat shrink on there and this job's done. One last shot of that. All done. Let's go load up the truck. Alright, well, we're not out of the woods yet, but well over half the pile. Got this all shoveled up and loaded and strapped in and ready to get rid of this stuff. So, I just wanted to show you guys, where I grew up, we had these things called transfer stations, and there were these nice big cement buildings with roofs, and you backed your rig up to this big cement pit, and they had dozers in there pushing the trash actually into a lower level into these semi-trucks, and then they would haul it off, presumably to something like this. And so here where I live now, the only thing we have is this, I guess, a legitimate landfill. And so you drive up the side of it like this. The video's probably not doing it justice, along with all the residential and commercial garbage trucks, you know, the big ones that come pick up your trash at your house, and eventually we get to wherever they're sending us on any given day. You show up and you push it out the back. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys that. Thanks for tagging along. Here's what I mean. Here's where they have us dumping today. Good view up here anyway. One more look at the experience. You drive through all that. Hope that you don't get a flat. And then you dump it over here. And that guy over there takes care of it.